1976 was a full-on landmark year for popular music. It was certainly a landmark year in the development of my personal musical tastes and sensibilities. In this series of videos, we're looking at 30 albums. Actually, it's turning out to be a few more than 30, that were released in 1976 that are marking their 50th anniversaries in 2026. That's 5-0, people. These are not necessarily the best albums from 1976, although I think some of them are. They are, however, albums that, for one reason or another, made some impression on me personally, or that I find interesting or noteworthy in some way. Today, in the 7th video in this series, we're looking back at an album that's all of the above. It's interesting, it's noteworthy, it definitely made an impression on me that has persisted to this very day, 50 years later. And, oh yeah, it is, without question, one of the greatest albums of 1976. Hey there, Swan Shadow here. Welcome back to the nest. One could say that 2112, the 4th studio album by Rush, is the album where Rush fully emerged as the Rush we know and love. I think that's oversimplifying a bit because Rush's trajectory toward becoming a progressive rock powerhouse really starts with their second album, Fly By Night, the first to feature drummer and lyricist Neil Peart. But it's true that 2112 reflected the band's all-in shove into prog, as well as their first real taste of unqualified success. For many Rush fans, 2112 is their favorite Rush album, and who am I to argue with their preference? I, however, didn't really gravitate to Rush until the release of 1981's Moving Pictures, which was 5 years and 4 studio albums later. So my attachment to the band really hinges at that point. For me, 2112 is an undeniably great album, but it's not quite as great as Farewell to Kings, which immediately follows it in 1977, and its greatness is not quite the equal of its successor, Hemispheres, in 1978, which is truly amazing, but not quite as amazing as Permanent Waves in 1980, which, as stunning as it is still outmatched by Moving Pictures, which remains, for me, the band's magnum opus. None of that should minimize the accomplishment and the creative leap forward that 2112 represents. 2112 is a stunning achievement for a band whose previous album, Caress of Steel, almost lost them their record label contract. The album's first half, side 1 of the original vinyl, consists entirely of the track entitled 2112, a 20-minute, 7-movement science fiction epic about, let's see, what is 2112 about? Space wars and mysterious priests and evil computers and biblical quotations and, well, a lot of other goings on. The storyline, such as it is, draws some inspiration from the works of objectivist philosopher and author Ayn Rand, by whose writings Neil Peart was very much influenced at this point in his career. The second half of the album reverts to more familiar song structures, but with lyrical themes that somewhat vaguely tie back into 2112. The highlight of the second half is The Twilight Zone, whose lyrics are based on 2 episodes of Rod Serling's classic TV anthology series, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? And Stop Over in a Quiet Town. What's interesting to me also about side 2, though, is that we get 2 songs with lyrics not by Neil Peart, but by the 2 founding members of the band. In fact, Lessons is completely the work of guitarist Alex Lifeson, while Tears is entirely written by bassist and lead singer Geddy Lee. What I really like about these 2 songs is that they provide a tangible connection back to Rush's roots as a meat and potatoes hard rock band before they made the hard pivot into progressive music. Lessons is just good old-fashioned classic rock. Of course, it wasn't old at the time. There's some beautiful guitar work by Lifeson on that song, both acoustic and electric. And with Tears, we get to hear Geddy Lee singing in a more gentle, emotional style, very different from the stratospheric screaming that most casual listeners associate with his vocal approach. The album concludes with Something for Nothing, very much in the mode of the direction Rush would pursue in its future. It's big, it's brash, it's in your face, it's Geddy at full throat, it's bold and progressive and Led Zeppelin-esque, and it's also just plain Rush. It's the kind of closing track that ends and the album stops and you're sitting there thinking, that's it? No more? There has to be more. I need more. There's really something for everyone on 2112. Listeners who embrace lengthy, concept album style, progressive fare will probably get full value from the epic track on side 1. Folks with shorter attention spans and less tolerance for improvisational noodling will find side 2 more to their taste. Musically, though, it's all dazzling, and it both presages and reinforces the enormity of what Rush would reveal in their subsequent albums, as they figured out this new direction and wrestled their weirder impulses and Geddy Lee's vocals into submission. A lot of bands would have created a landmark album like 2112 and called that a career. But Rush, they were just getting started. So what do you think about 2112? Is it your favorite album in the Rush discography? Or do you find it, as I do, an excellent starting point, but one that left the band with plenty of room still to grow? Leave me a note in the comments. I'll be curious to see what you think. As always, I would very much appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the content. And please subscribe to the channel. We've got at least 23 more great albums from 1976 that are turning 50 this year, on which we're going to be taking a fresh look back. I'd love to have you join us for all of them. I will see you when I see you. Until next time, please be well, and please do well by the people and the world around you. And how could I not ask? Is there gas in the car? Yes, there's gas in the car.